Welcome to another episode of the Tower 26B Race Area Podcast. I'm Jim Linsky here once again with Coach Jerry Rodriguez. Coach, how goes it this fine day?
It's good. We had some visitors today.
You know what? We've been getting a lot of visitors lately, and I've been having to show the moneymaker on social media plenty with all the photos we're taking with all these visitors.
I know. You had two requests this morning.
Exciting, but we got to start charging for these. I'll be the Pete Rose of triathlon, start charging for photos and autographs. What do you think?
You can command it.
So what the deal is we have subscription members and listeners coming in from out of town swimming with us in our morning workouts, afternoon workouts, evening workouts, and then afterwards they take pictures with us and go home happy and hungry.
This morning we're just two podcast guests.
Yeah, it's fun to see people coming to town. So all you listening at home in all parts of the world, you're more than welcome to come join us and get your butt kicked by Coach Jerry over here, because we had some tired swimmers this morning after that workout.
Well, we had a workout specifically designed for this time of the season and getting ready for Kona. So,
you know what? They're going to have a tough time lifting their arms to click play on this Facebook Live, because we are on Facebook Live again. Another episode on Facebook Live. We're getting a lot of good feedback. We've had 30,000 views on Facebook. Is that right? 30?
That was from the prior two episodes ago.
One. The last one was 21.5 thousand views on the last episode. That's big. People must enjoy watching us. I mean, I think I enjoy watching us.
You know, and as time goes along, obviously more people would view episodes and listen to episodes. So the most recent episodes would get the least views or listenership.
And keeps building. But what's funny about these Facebook Live episodes, and I said this last episode, is that the audio versions on iTunes are getting more and more downloads. And I think the Facebook Live is just stimulating that as well. So thank you to Facebook, YouTube, and all you listening and watching and viewing and whatever you're doing at home while we're on in the background. But hey, I raced at Ironman Chattanooga last weekend, Jer.
You did really well.
We did well. Yeah, I did all right. But let's get to the important part. We did a time trial start because the swim, if there was a sad sound effect, Christoph, do you have a sad sound effect? The swim was canceled due to flooding in the area. So we started a time trial start, and I was the second athlete to go, the second professional athlete to start. So I took it out, and I actually felt awkward because I went back and watched the show on the plane ride home, and I was the majority of the first hour and a half. It was yours truly on the screen.
But why would that make you feel awkward? I mean, I would think you'd enjoy that.
It's just Greg Welch and Dee Griesbauer they kept talking about the big guy the entire time through. And I'm not one to get, flush in the face and a little embarrassed, but I was a little embarrassed. But this is what I'm looking at here. I know Facebook wanted to draw in the viewers. And just like if you know anything about making speeches, you want to tell a story or a funny experience to draw in the audience at the first part of the speech. I think Facebook was thinking the same thing by putting me on there. I was a little, they want to draw in the viewers. They want to draw in some audience. So they put me on for an hour and a half. And then after an hour and a half, I kind of fell by the wayside. But the viewers were already there because of the big guy.
Well,
you couldn't agree more. I know it.
Viewers are here for the same.
And viewers from, what country is really trending quickly on our charts? United Arab Emirates. They moved up to number 18 on the charts this last week.
You know, that the Middle Eastern area and Asian continent really, I think that's a big growth area in triathlon at the moment, and it's really great to see. And
we're going to see a lot of them out in Kona, I believe, so it'd be fun to meet some of our brothers from that area, brothers and sisters from that area, come check it out. But we have a very interesting show today. Before we get to what's on this show, let's talk about what happened last episode.
Well, last episode we talked about basically the value of the swim lesson, and to the point where at times the swim lesson can be, in my opinion, devalued or placed at the wrong time and so on. So it was really an education in when you should take a swim lesson, when you'll get the best return from it, time investment wise, also from a productivity perspective of improvements. And then, of course, your return on your money, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was the bulk of the episode.
So we get a lot into that, and you can go back and watch it on Facebook, watch it on YouTube, listen to it on iTunes. There's plenty of places that you can check that out. What are we going to talk about this episode?
Well, 3 things for us today. Want to quickly touch on our website that just got launched yesterday. So that's new. Also want to go into and discuss our Kona schedule so we can let our audience know what we're doing in Kona and what times and so on. And then finally, I want to go through and talk about a little bit touch on our platform and sort of the compulsion that I'm seeing with on reading from some interested parties about our subscription program.
We got a packed show here, and jumping ahead to Kona schedule, I thought I was going to go out there, get some nice relaxation time, kick back, enjoy the race. We got a packed schedule, man. You really packed us in for this one, so
well,
you want to get your money's worth of showing me around there. I think.
As you know, we're staying fairly far away from the race.
Yeah, we can't let that out though, because we have paparazzi and have all these people hanging out, waiting for autographs. Let's not tell people where we're staying.
Of course.
Okay, you can get into it if you want.
No, I defer to you.
That's fine. The more the merrier.
I'll try to manage our schedule through the early afternoon, and then we're out.
Gotcha. Well, it's gonna be a pack full, and we're looking forward to meeting a lot of listeners and subscribers and just fans of Tower 26 and fans of triathlon. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. So we'll go over that schedule. But let's talk about the website. We launched a new website yesterday, and it's really exciting. Christophe did an amazing job. Christophe, he's over there in the corner producing the show. So one day we'll get his moneymaker on screen here. But let's talk about the website, what it entails, and how these listeners and viewers can access it.
Well, I think one of the really cool things that Christophe did, if you look, he probably has the website up on the screen at the moment, I hope.
Yeah.
If you slide down, you'll notice the website is heavily populated with images. I think there are 150 images or something on there.
So we had a screen so we could see what Christophe is doing, but it just turned off the screen. So I don't know we don't know what he's doing on there. So he may have to come over and this technical difficulty fix the screen so we can guide you through it.
Yeah,
right?
It's okay.
We improv. We go with it. We can keep rolling.
But on the website, you'll notice we have a number of sections, right? And on all the sections, there are lots of images within each section. But the main page breaks the website down into these sort of 6 components that we have: our pool swims, our beach swims, podcasts, and so on. The thing that's very interesting that I think is important for our audience to recognize: every single image in there is a club member. These are real people, triathletes, like everyone out here listening, have jobs, have careers, families, and they're participating in our program. So let's give some real time. In fact, why don't we start with Christophe as a perfect example? So he's image number 1 on the far left there, right?
Swim workouts. That's Christophe right there.
That's Christophe right there, getting ready to push off to do a swim repeat. And Christophe, can we give Christophe's age?
Yeah. He was just talking about it downstairs. Yeah, what is
44? Yeah, 44
years old.
Yeah. Christophe's retired, which is great. It's fortunate for us. We get to utilize his experience as a programmer to help write our programs. But here's real-time athlete, family, father of 3. Okay.
Is that all he has? Is 3 kids? It seems like every time I come in, there's a new kid hanging out.
So he's got his 3 kids, and Christophe works out, participates in our program, does the track workouts, is on our triathlon plan, fully engaged in everything, and has made, and we break our athletes down, as you know, especially in our subscription program, into 4 levels, right? Level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Christophe falls into a level 2 athlete. As we go through all of the sections, in fact, if you look over, you'll see the pool section. That's Bonita. Bonita is a level 4 athlete. When you look down below on the bike, that is Ricardo, right?
Yeah.
Who you coach.
Just went sub 10 at Ironman
958, right?
Maryland, Yep.
Ricardo is a level 2 athlete. Next to that is Rikaka. Rikaka is a level 3 athlete.
I've never seen anyone run harder to track than Rikaka. It is amazing. She runs so hard, she doesn't even open her eyes. She really runs with her eyes closed when she's running.
She does.
It is amazing how she runs. I don't know how she stays straight, but
55 to 59
leaves it all out there.
Works in the airline industry. So all of these folks in the images, you guys, that you're seeing on our website, and as you dive into all the subsections, they're all participants in our program.
Yep.
Now, here's the interesting thing I want to talk about.
The last guy, right?
Well, that's the obvious one.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay. There are 150-something images on this website. Now, that also includes the 58 or 59 podcast images. So let's remove all those little thumbnails that are podcast images, right, for a moment. Take that out of the 150-something. So you end up with 70, 80 images, whatever it might be, okay? All of those images were shot during our workouts, either our beach workouts, our track workouts, our training workouts, or the majority of them at our pool workouts. I think I want to do a contest.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I want to do a contest where we give away something. I want to give away a free subscription to our platform.
This must be something that must be extremely hard to do, because if Jared's willing to give away a free subscription, good luck.
Yeah, because what's interesting is I had somebody look at these images yesterday and the day before. You know, that Christoph put together all the images of the website, and they thought these were professional models. Some of them didn't think that they were swimmers. They thought all the images were beautiful, and they thought they were staged.
Wow.
So here's the deal: most of the images are not staged. The majority aren't staged. In fact, less than 12 are staged. So here's what I'd like to put out there. Taking out all of the podcast thumbnails, only the rest of the images throughout the website. If somebody can identify which images are staged, because there are several, they're less than 12. Mm-hmm. That's the number. So you have a little bit of information. They're less than 12. If you can guess which images are not staged, are staged.
Yes, gotcha.
The ones that we actually set up. Send that in by October 30th, the end of the month.
Contact at tower26.com.
Yes, we'll have Jessica review it. And then let's give a free subscription to who nails that down.
Somebody nails it down. Good luck. I'm not going to attempt it. I'll tell you that much.
I think one of them is very obvious as I was looking through it. And then there are many that appear to be, and some, we'll see. Well, let's find out.
I was at most of the shoots, or when the photographers were there, and I couldn't even do it. So good luck.
They just came to our workouts and shot while we were doing our regular thing.
So that's some, go play with the website. It's very interactive, tower26.com, and give us your feedback. Contact at tower26.com. Let us know what you think of it. Let's get on to our Kona schedule. Where can our athletes and listeners and fans come to see us while we're in Kona next week?
Well, this is important for us because, as you know, we're going to arrive on Tuesday, and then we fly out the following Monday, after a couple of days after the race.
Yeah.
So much of this here would be for our athletes that are participating in the race, our location-based athletes, people that participated in our pool programs, our beach programs, and then, of course, athletes that are on our subscription plan. Mm-hmm. We're also inviting athletes from Base Nutrition, Matt Miller, who I used to coach, and core athletes, Kebby, that swims in our program, and Ash and Hillary, right?
Hillary, yep.
So those two entities are invited to attend many of these workouts. So laid out is the schedule for you. You'll notice that every morning we start early, 6:15. 6:15 a.m. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we have organized swims every day.
Gotcha.
And that's about an hour long, right?
Am I going to be able to get coffee before these swims?
That's up to you, my man. You got to budget that into your schedule.
Our schedule. We're sharing one car, buddy.
You also know that I'm a guy that starts stuff on time.
You start on time, believe me. I know.
So promptly at 6:15, we're going to get the session started. So you want to make sure you have ample time, get yourself set up. We're going to meet on the, especially when we're meeting at the pier, which is on Wednesday. We'll meet on the left side if you're looking at the pier away from the beach, or if you're standing on that little beach there, on the right side is where we'll meet at the pier. And then on Thursday and Friday we're going to the pool workouts. But we're going to start promptly 6:15, and then the schedule lays out for us the rest of the day. And I've created opportunities for us to meet subscribers, meet some of the podcast listeners, and so on, and then also an opportunity for us to swim the course. We're going to swim the course on Wednesday at 10-ish. We're waiting on Matt Dixon to be able to get done doing what he's got a breakfast meeting before. When Matt's finished, he'll come over and join us, and there are a handful of us that are going to swim the course and the main reason for this is because when we get to Thursday, we're doing
live show, live podcast, Lava Java, 2:15.
2:15 p.m.
2:15 we start.
And I want to make sure, and that podcast is about discussion on the course, what we're going to talk about, the specifics of the course in incredible detail, distance of the buoys, color of the buoys, starting position, where you should start, why you should start there, if you started there, what the benefits are, and so on. We're going to go through step by step of all course details in that podcast. That's why we're going to swim the course on Wednesday, because I want to become intimately familiar with everything related to the course, any sorts of possible currents, any sighting information that I would need to know to be able to pass on. Once I can feel that, be able to deliver it more directly, we will go through the details of that in the podcast. Then we're going to do a Q&A with the audience so they can ask questions specifically related to the course. And then after those questions, anything related to race course, after those are finished, then we'll take anything related to triathlon swimming in general.
Gotcha.
That's sort of the nutshell of the podcast. And of course, regarding who's invited to this, we have a limitation, right?
About 100, right?
About 100?
Yep.
So Tower 26 racing athletes, Purple Patch Fitness athletes, racing athletes, Pure Sport racing athletes, Base Nutrition racing athletes. That's the first 4 groups. After that, anybody else.
Yeah.
So we can get to capacity.
Fill it out at 100, right?
Right.
We have to hire somebody to turn people away at the door, though.
Well, I think we're going to put you there. I mean,
I got plenty of stuff to do upstairs. I got to warm up the chords. You know what I'm saying? I warm up the voice. So fa la ti da or something.
You'll be upstairs.
Yeah. I guess I could do both. Throw my weight around a little bit. Bring me back to my ice hockey days.
Now, there's also a 1 p.m. Matt Dixon is running for his Purple Patch athletes, which are Tower 26 athletes that are racing. Okay, subscription athletes and our location-based athletes are invited to. So Matt and Paul Buick, his bike coach, will go through the course details, and that's going to be at 1 o'clock. That's to his athletes and Tower 26 athletes. Right as that gets done, then we will open up headquarters. That'll be you're the boss there, and you'll bring in all the podcast items and get set up, and then 2:15 we'll get launched.
We'll get going. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you know, I'm thinking right now outside the box, if you want a backdoor entry to all this stuff, become a subscriber, right? Coaching.tower26.com. You can come to all this stuff.
The quintessential salesman.
Right? Come right through. That's the way I work, Chair. So we got the whole website, the whole agenda up there. Christoph just ran through it. 6:15 we'll be swimming every morning, either at the pier or the pool. And then we have all those meet and greets and podcasts throughout the day. It's going to be a fun week.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week.
So we're really looking forward to that. Now, we wanted to address on the show the phases of our subscription and our at-home swim program. Could we get a little into that and kind of let the listeners know where we're at on that front? Yeah,
the reason I wanted to talk about this, guys, is we are getting lots of requests, excuse me, thanks to these podcasts and so on, about joining our subscription plan. We already have, it's a pretty robust plan in the quantity of people that are in it. But a number of these requests are similar in nature, such as, when can I start? Or more importantly, so almost of a compulsive desire to start at a particular time. I want to start during phase 2, or I want to start during the technical phase, or I want to start during the foundation phase because I need fitness and so on. So there's this desire and almost a very starting date that people want to start. I think that's fine. That's sort of personality driven, and we know the types of personalities that are in the sport of triathlon: very dedicated, very committed, very A-type, right? And obviously extremely organized. So I recognize why start dates become important to you. From a coach's perspective, we look at this from a more macro lens. Joining our program for 3 months is of, I think, not high value. I wouldn't say it's low value, but it's not the highest value for the customer. Coaches look at platforms, a training platform for an athlete, in terms of a very long and wide horizon. We look at this a 2-year time frame. So if somebody were to join, let's pick a date, June 1st, okay?
Yeah.
They're going to go through all 5 of our phases, because we run 5 phases a year. And by May 30th the following year, they've gone through all 5 phases. That's year 1. Then they're going to have to repeat that again in year 2, because what makes us get better and better?
Repetition, consistency.
And consistency. So we go through the phases and repeat them 2 or 3 times. And as in one of the episodes that we did with Chris Wright, remember when we had him on last year?
Last year he was on, yeah.
Chris Wright's been with us for about 7 years. 38-minute half Ironman athlete, and Chris Wright is now down to 28 minutes for his half Ironman, 28:30, somewhere in that range. And it's just each year just chipping away. And Chris is a 3-time a week, sometimes 2 times a week participant because busy attorney, family, all the normal things that the rest of us have, but consistency over time. So the message here is not to get hung up in any one particular phase to start or some particular time, because if you delay to start, as an example, you still have to make up the delay. So the person who started that said, I'm just going to wait till June 1st to start, or I'm going to wait till, in fact, our technical phase is getting ready to be launched. And some people wanted to know, we got a number of emails, want to know exactly the date of our technical phase. Well, I don't actually have an exact date because we're rolling out of our race ready phase, and we're going to roll into the technical phase, and they should start now, today, because this portion that we're in at the moment still has to be done next year.
That's right. Yep.
So you may as well get the training and build the skills in it now. Otherwise, you're delaying learning those skills.
And I think what you said before we got on there about us naming it phases, because we have to name the phases, but it is what it is. It's training is training, you know, and we just do that because that's what triathlon does, the periodization that everybody uses. But really, when I was playing ice hockey, we didn't have any word called periodization. You just start training, and what the coach tells you to do, you do. We've just given these names, and athletes seem to revert, oh, I want to get in at the technical phase because that's where I should start. No, you should start right now, because if you're prolonging it any longer, that's the longer it's going to take for you to make those gains.
And this is a good point you just made. Example, and that's actually the most important comment that's made. I want to start during the technical phase. Every single phase has technical information.
Add it all in.
One phase may be more heavily weighted with technical emphasis, but every single phase has technical emphasis. Every single phase has endurance in it, because the mere fact of showing up and doing a workout builds endurance, especially if it's a sensibly put together workout. So I want to sort of help manage the sort of compulsion to want to start at a specific time or at a specific phase. If you're in triathlon for its duration, okay, and from the perspective of you want to use this sport as a lifestyle and be able to progress each year, it shouldn't matter when anybody starts.
Just get into it, get on it. The quicker you get on it, the faster you make those gains, right?
Yeah,
it's like if I wanted to start doing pull-ups, I do 2 today, and in 6 weeks I want to be able to do 10. If I wait 3 weeks, I'm not going to be able to do 10 in 6 weeks. I got to start right now.
You probably get them all done in one day. I know, knowing you.
2 pull-ups at a time, Jared. My upper body strength is pathetic, so we got to work on that. Look at this. As we got some comments from the last show, your shoulders are much wider than my shoulders. Well,
I don't get into that stuff.
By the way, in Kona, very small carry-on bags we need, because all we're going to be wearing is Speedos all week.
You, my man. I'm past that phase.
So we made that point just now. I hope you guys get it. I ran by a guy on, because if you know Ironman Chattanooga course, it's 2 loops. I ran by a guy on the second loop. He was on his first loop, and his name, I was lucky to be able to take one step in front of the other without cramping. He yelled to me as I passed, because I have my name like put on my butt nice and big, and he saw, hey Jim, I signed up for the subscription program starting Monday. I bought all this stuff already. So thank you for the shout out. Your name, I'm spacing out on it, but thanks for the shout out. And there's a few of those as I ran by. So it's fun to hear stuff like that on course.
Well, you got the 90 minutes of airtime right up front.
Right up front. Everybody knew I was right out there, and then a name on my butt, and you can't miss me. The biggest guy on the course. So let's get into the workout of the episode, Jer. I think we made that point clear to everybody out there with the phases. Let's get on the workout of the episode. Let's blow through this one so we get right to questions. We got a lot of questions.
Yeah,
today.
We got a handful of questions. With this workout, guys, it's very specific to where we are right now, athletes preparing for Kona. So I'm going to drive you to the website in the essence of time here.
Coaching.tower26.com. Check it out. Got video, audio, and all the details.
Essentially, the ingredients of this workout are very specific to the demands of open water skills, right? Sighting, takeout speed, drafting, all the necessary ingredients if you want to perform and do really, really well. So go check it out. And there are 2 main sets actually in this workout. And remember, these workouts are at least as we deliver them on the podcast, they are for the level 1 athletes. But once you get to the plan, they're scaled for all different levels.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you can start right now, because it's always scaled to your specific abilities.
Yeah.
So coaching.tower26.com, check that out. Let's get to the questions of the episode. Remember, contact@tower26.com for questions. First question is from Jesse Storino. Hey, Jerry, I've recently started listening to your most excellent podcast. The early podcasts clearly recommend fairly heavy use of the swim snorkel to improve swim form. I'm an age group triathlete, 55 to 59, and have completed 4 full Ironman races, including Kona, and loads of 70.3 races over the past decade. My full IM swim times are 1 hour and 15 minutes, and my 70.3 races are around 35 minutes. Swimming remains my weakest event, but I'm aiming to change that. Here's my question. In the past, I've tried snorkel swimming in the pool. I get water up my nose constantly. I have a slight allergy to chlorine, and this tends to keep me out of the pool for a few days until it clears up. I've tried a nose plug, but that doesn't work either. I don't do flip turns, but still have the issue. I believe it's something I'm doing wrong and not the snorkel, but I'm not sure. Have you seen this before, and do you have any advice for me?
Okay. Jesse, thanks for the question. Number one, quite good. 55 to 59, 35-minute half Ironman, 115 Ironman. It's a good athlete. So as much as you sort of maybe a little bit of self-deprecation there, you are a very good swimmer. Regarding the snorkel, whether you have an allergy to chlorine or not doesn't really affect what I'm going to state here. Getting used to the snorkel takes a fair amount of time. Okay? I remember when I first got introduced to it 15 years ago or more, it took me a month.
Yeah.
About a month swimming. At that point, I was swimming a handful of times a week. So a dozen sessions before I got some familiarity with it. Coughing, choking, water up the nose, and so on, because I'd never used
It's very similar to waterboarding, I'd say. Not that I've ever been waterboarded, but I would say waterboarding.
Yeah. Yep. So Jesse, you have to give yourself ample time for that adaptation to occur. Unfortunately, because of the allergies that you have, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I would suggest using a nose plug in your case, or continue to use it, see if that helps a bit. But you've got to get through, let's say, at least 10 times, because we talked about 10 being sort of a number for adaptation, 10 times using that snorkel in a very condensed period of time. So if you can swim 5 days a week for 2 weeks, I think at the end of 2 weeks, you'll be there.
And you just got to learn to turn the nose off. Believe me, if I could turn this thing off, Jesse, you could turn your nose off and not get the water up there. Next question, Justin Scott. Hey, Jerry, I wanted to let you know about my race at Ironman Maine 70.3 and say thank you for all you do. When I started in triathlon in 2015, I hated every day that I had to go swimming. And now over the last year or so, I look forward to it just like another workout, all thanks to you and Jim. Becoming dedicated to improvement and staying focused, present with swimming 3+ times a week really pays off. His swim was 29:36, a full 2,100 yards with a beach start and finish. Here's some background on where my swim was in the past few years at half Ironman events. In 2015, I was 40:43. 2016, I was 36:06. And 2017, I was 37:42. That's a huge gain. The swim felt great, and I felt super fresh coming out of the water onto the bike, and that feeling was able to continue all day. Turned out to be a great day and a 27-minute PR that all started off with my great swim. Thank you for getting me this far, and I can't wait to race in Ironman Louisville next week.
Justin. Amazing. Yes. Justin, thanks for sending this in. Take a look at this carefully. A 41-minute almost 2015 half Ironman. Then he made a big drop. He went to 36 minutes in 2016, 37 minutes in 2017. So he sort of plateaued there for a bit. And then a big breakout to from 36 minutes was his prior best down to 29 on this course.
That's unbelievable.
Big, massive breakout. So, Justin, I mean,
great
not
work.
much. I mean, incredible.
Just keep doing what you're doing, though. I mean, I think the gains will keep coming with your consistency and the communication he has with us. Yeah. And it's great to see that stuff. And I have no doubt his ceiling is not reached yet. Next question is from Thesis Jacob Peterson of Norway. Hey, there appears to be an issue getting the right paddles shipped to Norway. The shipping fees are ridiculous. Can I replace them with the Finnish bolster paddles or any other paddles?
Theus. Is that how we'd say this? That would be the correct.
Theus Jacob Peterson.
Theus
Jacob Peterson.
Thank you for the
Norway.
question.
Theus, I'm sure, is watching right now in Norway.
Good.
Right?
Well, it should.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question. Regarding these paddles, we don't recommend substituting these paddles. I recognize the costs are high. Perhaps they are what's the right word I'm looking for? Distributors in Europe that you can purchase these paddles from directly and not have to pay shipping costs from the U.S. But if you purchase it from any vendor in the U.S., you're still going to have those shipping costs. And in fact, most of the vendors actually require you to buy insurance because they don't want to be liable for if they're lost. So a big part of the pricing with shipping international is insurance costs. The point being, these paddles are inexpensive to start with. People pay, Jim, what do you pay for a bike post?
Bike post? Jeez, I mean, those are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars maybe with the carbon.
What do you pay for wheels?
$10,000 you can get for wheels. That's what I pay for. They're a lot of money. That's what we're saying. We're saying you pay a lot of money for things by the paddles.
So at this price, it's worth getting. There's no substitution for these particular paddles because they serve a very definitive purpose for stroke mechanics, and especially substituting them for the ones that you recommended. That's a no-no. Not that I don't have an issue with those paddles you recommended. They're plenty fine. But for the purpose of these particular paddles, there actually is no paddles or are no paddle substitutions.
We don't just use them to use them. We use them for a reason. So we look forward to getting some pictures of you using those, Theus. Alfred Gotti of Chicago. My own boy from Chicago. I have to say with the Chicago accent here. Good day, Jerry and Jim, and Tower 26 team, Christoph as well. Thank you for sharing so much for free. I'm going to turn off the Chicago accent. I've reduced my 70.3 open water, freshwater wetsuit swim time from the high 37s to mid 33s in less than 3 months just by binge listening to you, and have done that twice. So it's no fluke. Yes, the ginger bastard, Triathlon Terran, introduced me to Tower 26 as well. He calls himself the ginger bastard.
This is great. We're going to have to
really bring that out next week because we're going to see him there and give him some garbage for it. Hey, anyway, I've never tried a sample workout nor used the recommended equipment, nor have I ever poled in the pool, ever. This was simply by breathing every other stroke and getting rid of attempting the early vertical forearm BS. It was a rapid improvement with little training, 2 swims a week, seldom 3, and all less than 3,000 yards. By listening to all your podcasts, some twice over, I've become a believer and plan to sign up starting October 1st and take swim training serious for the first time.
I guess we should check to see if he did sign up, huh?
October 1st was 3 days ago. Yeah. So, Alfred, Chicagoans don't lie. I tell you that much. So you better be signed up. First, my first question is about volume. Do I scale it down for the first few weeks to avoid fatigue, or do I jump right in and hope to adapt? I'll be coming in from 2,500 yards, and some of the current sample workouts shared are at 4,200 yards plus. I'm not a stranger to these volumes, but haven't been there in about a year. Question 2, my effort level. Do you refer to 80 to 85% or 75% or easy? And yes, I'll go listen again as you've discussed it before, but what is the fastest way to learn what it feels like to swim without blowing up? I only have 2 gears. Do I use my heart rate as a guide, or do I learn over time with this effort level? I can tell you that my swimming heart rate isn't remotely close to that of my cycling or running. If I had to go 150 plus beats a minute, even for a couple hundreds, I'd be spent. I typically average in the 120s or 130s for my swim heart rate.
Okay.
This is a long question, but there's a lot of good. He has a lot of good questions here.
Yes, he provided Alfred really great ones, foundation here. Thanks for the question. Very well laid out. I like the foundation for it, and congrats on the big improvements in a short period of time.
I'm very little.
Look forward to seeing you on the plan. If you have joined, welcome in. I haven't seen in the last 2 days the names have joined, but yet I haven't seen them. I'll see them tomorrow. Maybe
we should nickname him Italian Beef. That's what we eat in Chicago: Italian beef sandwiches. Alfred Italian Beef. Gotti.
Well, maybe we would allow that in the comments section.
There we go. All right.
Give him a nickname.
Italian Beef.
So, Alfred, 2 things, 3 things. 1, congratulations on the big improvement. Secondly, regarding your question on volume in particular, the workouts are carefully scaled. So at your particular level, you'll achieve the volume that's appropriate for you. And additionally, the way the workouts are crafted, no one has an issue actually completing the workouts. These are not go grind away and swim, in your example, 4,200 yards. They're done with many things integrated into them that offer you the opportunity to conclude the workout. So I don't think this is going to be an issue, especially for you, more so regarding the background you've provided. As far as the effort percentages and having 2 gears, this is fairly standard for most triathletes coming into the sport. Training at 1 effort level for the most part and being able to sort of only go fast or at that effort level. You have to, in our workouts, we will teach you over time how to have different gradations of effort, but that starts with practice. So we have to start somewhere. So when you get our workouts, they are specifically identified as to what efforts to put in certain sets. Okay. And over time, with practice, you'll then develop an additional gear and then another additional gear and so on, and be able to make progress in that area.
Exactly. We have a lot of people come and say, I only have 1 gear, I only have 2 gears. And in short amount of time, they figure it out. There's more than 2 gears.
And I want to come back to Susan. I always bring your name up. I brought it up multiple times. Susan Oleski.
I missed her in Chattanooga. She wrote me asked me out for dinners and meet her family, and I just couldn't make it over there. So
Susan is
sorry I missed you, Susan.
Susan, you're one of my favorite subscribers because we did a little head-to-head in the first few months that you joined on board. And Susan is 62 years old, so you've had a lot of years where you plateaued for 7 or 8 years from all the messages you sent in, and Susan thought she couldn't have different gears. And we, it was multiple rounds of communication, and then finally bought into it. And guess what? The breakthrough 7 years later.
There it is.
Alfred, you will be able to develop different gears.
And we look forward to seeing those results come real quick and real fast. Last question is from Laurent Chabonel. My Frenchman, how do you say this? From France and Switzerland. Laurent Charbonnel. Hey guys, I came to Tower 26 podcast through the Purple Patch podcast, and wow, I thought I was doing well in my triathlon swimming and training. Coming from a pool sprint swimming background, what does that say there?
It's 1 minute for 100 meter freestyle.
1 minute for 100 meter freestyle, 1:14, 2:36 for 100 meter, 200 meter breaststroke as a teenager. She can move. I started triathlon a few years ago. With good base speed, I put a good emphasis on muscular endurance. Tracking my improvements, everything goes well on this side, swimming faster and faster year after year. And still, I haven't incorporated all the Tower 26 things, citing in the pool, deck up, specific open water starts, workouts, butterfly kicks, and so on, which I will do as of now. In my first Ironman in Nice, France, I swam a great 1 hour, 4 minutes, 17 seconds. I'm registered for Roth, Challenge Roth, this year, and my objective is to swim the same time, perhaps coming out of the water a bit fresher. So I'll not put a real emphasis on the swimming this because my real problem is the bike. This is where I should and need to put my energy, and where I think gains could be up to 30 to 45 minutes, including a better run afterwards. Here's my question. Do you have a podcast to recommend that would have the same mentality that Tower 26 has, but it's bike related? I've checked Tower 27 since the bike comes after the swim, but unsuccessfully, it's not there. Any idea? Cheers. All the best.
Thanks. Christophe? Laurent. Is that male or female?
That's a male.
It's a male. Yeah, that's what I thought. Jim, you called the gentleman a female.
You know what? This is my podcast. What I say goes. So if I say Laurent's a woman, it's a woman. I'm sorry.
Okay. Laurent, thanks for the question and the detail. Obviously, Jim, Laurent is a terrific swimmer. 1 minute for 100 meters. Let's do a little exchange on that. That's about 52 seconds or so for 100 yards. And breaststroke swimming 1:14 and 2:36. So this is close to about a 105, 104, 100-yard breaststroker. So this is a good swimmer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so swimming is not the issue here. Being able to go 104 for an Ironman is okay, actually. It's just okay for your swimming ability. You have room to improve this. The only thing you didn't give here was your age, but you have lots of room to improve your swimming. With this sort of background, you can, I would think, easily be a 55-minute Ironman swimmer at some point. But your question was along the lines of biking podcast. Here's my question, and here's my comment for you, Laurent. You got to us through Purple Patch. There's your resource. Go contact Purple Patch. Listen to Matt's. Matt has his own podcast, but also I would contact him specifically to get a prescriptive set of workouts for you. Hire the Purple Patch group and get your workouts from them, unless you don't want to pay for workouts. He wanted a podcast, so I'm going to let you answer that specific. I have some ideas, but once you answer what podcast, but I think it'll be more beneficial for you to go back to Purple Patch, send a note to Matt Dixon or whatever their contact at Purple Patch, and get some prescribed workouts from Purple Patch.
I mean, a detailed podcast I always recommend is Trainer Road, just because they have they have the platform to give the workouts with their podcast. So it's kind of like what we've done with our podcast and workouts. They've kind of done over there. So I like the Trainer Road podcast.
Yes, I agree. They do a terrific job.
So, I mean, it's not as entertaining as our podcast. I'm going to be completely honest, and we can have a debate on that if you want, but it's very informative. So thank you for all those questions. Remember, contact at tower26.com. Jerry, I was going to ask you, as I usually do, what are we going to talk about next episode? But we're going to be in Kona. Yep. Aloha, speedoing it up, live audience questions. I'm going to be out there working the crowd. That's where I really thrive. So we're looking forward to seeing all you listeners out there, all you subscribers, all you friends, fans, family.
I'm really looking forward to actually doing this podcast in Kona because, one, what's interesting, we've never done a live podcast with an audience. Mm-hmm. This will be a first. So there'll be some bugs, I'm sure, that we'll have to get through, but you will handle that.
I'll take care of it, yeah.
And you'll ad-lib. But also, I think it's going to be interesting for me to swim the course with you and Matt Dixon and some others. Scott DeFilippos, that's on our plan, is going to swim with us. And then be able to come and give very precise prescriptive measures of what to do on that course for race day. I think it's going to be a very, very valuable content podcast.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a fun week out there. I saw Scott. He got 5th place at Chattanooga.
Yes.
During the race, he got stung by a bee. So at the awards the next day, I looked at him, and his whole right side of his face was just swollen out like a balloon. I said, dude, what happened to your face? But I said that to him, then thinking like, maybe his face is just like that. He says, no, I got stung by a bee. So he
still went 437. He's recovering. He had his bike ride and yours were very similar.
A big bike ride.
He had a great run.
And he ran his face off.
252.
So congratulations to him. Look forward to seeing it. And I'm going to make up for it next week. We're going to have a marathon, 1v1 marathon, me versus him next week too. I might schedule that in when I'm free. As you notice, there's no free time, so that's not going to happen. So Jerry, we look forward to that. Christoph, thanks for another outstanding show. Appreciate all you do over there. For Jerry Rodriguez, Jim Linsky, the Tower 26 P Race Radio Podcast.